Hello.
We're streaming?
I believe so.
Another Sun Wednesday bites the dust.
Wait, let me just confirm. Yes.
We are a bit early.
We're
We
live.
apologize, but we are ready to eat this bad boy pile of meat.
Oh yeah, so we got to talk about that. So this.
Of course.
Yeah, we're live. Okay.
This is a brisket we smoked.
Just smoked it today.
How long?
Like 6 hours. But I still feel like it didn't quite get up to 195 or whatever you're supposed to get it to. Oh my gosh.
Jeez Louise. And then I have my handy dandy low carb barbecue sauce. I use G Hughes. People always ask. That's what I like. And then we have our favorite pickles. This is Grillo's pickles. They're fresh. We get them Whole Foods. We've seen them at Kroger.
And we're going to eat all this tonight. It's 5 pounds.
No, we're not. We're not food challenging this.
You're not part of the pound boys? Or what was I saying yesterday in the video?
Yeah, the pound.
The 1 pound boys, the full pound
Yeah.
boys. So, if you guys are new to this, this is the one video we do that isn't fully keto related. We're still eating keto. We'll answer some keto questions.
But we're not really doing anything keto based. So, you know, if you're here for keto, we apologize. But stay for the crime because it's fun.
Yeah, this is where we tell crime stories or other mysteries. And the idea is for us to be eating dinner, telling stories. Maybe you guys eat dinner at home. You can like watch these back with us. And share your stories on Instagram. Hashtag MurderSheAte. Show us what you're eating and watching the stream. And did we tell them what these are? These are biscuits I made.
Yeah, Matt made the best bread ever.
It's really good.
That I've eaten. It's legit bread, but it's going into our cookbook, so we're not going to be sharing the recipe on our food blog. Sorry. It is so good. I was eating real bread. I was so impressed. So Matt's having a couple of those. I'm excited to have some pickles.
And like always, I think Mega's case today was suggested by a viewer.
Yes, it was.
So if you guys want to comment below with any cases you want us to cover.
I'm always looking for some help. It's hard for me to find some, but this one I looked it up and immediately I was drawn in.
And suggest dinners for us to eat.
Yeah. Nothing
We've been
too
doing a lot of
crazy,
barbecue. I'm gonna start selecting my pieces I want.
Okay.
I want this one.
Okay. Look at. I want to show them
It's really
show them
fatty.
how fatty that piece is. Jesus.
Look at that.
That's mainly fat.
Yeah.
Looks good.
We'll grab a few of those, I guess. I'm still working on how to do brisket. If you guys know a good recipe to follow or something, comment below. I'm doing it on the smoker. Do you want that one? That's probably a good one.
Sure. Napkins.
And if you guys are following us or just watch this video, just the crime series, our real channel is about the keto diet. You've probably heard of that by now. Matt, your short hair makes you look more hood. Keep it up. Thank you. I actually just love not having to mess with hair. The only thing with this is though you have to shave it pretty regularly.
It looks really good though.
I need to work through a little bit of my meal before we go into stories. So how's your guys' day going? Wednesday? Over halfway through the week? That's always nice. How's the seasoning on this?
It's good. It's simple, but good. Megan not wearing a bra. No, I'm at home. I'm relaxing.
She rarely wears a
I
bra.
rarely wear a bra. If I can get away with it, or if I can't, I don't wear one.
What kind of barbecue are you using?
G Hughes low carb barbecue sauce. I always do that same one. You want a pickle?
Is the video kind of blurry? How's the audio, guys? Let us know. Are you got your filling of this?
Yeah.
I'll put it off to the side.
Okay.
Julius is probably gonna try getting after that.
He's gonna bark at it.
So glad it's hump day. Bay Area, a lot of Bay Area people in here.
Ooh,
Love
we're
the
gonna
Bay
be in
Area.
the Bay Area in Feb.
Back home. People that are born in the Bay Area, they're really cool. Typically.
Natives are awesome. I had a couple native friends. They're the best people.
The barbecue place we get it from is better, right?
Yeah, but we smoked this ourselves, so it's fun, right? We made it. Started early, yeah. We started a little early. we're ready to dig into some brisket.
I don't need sauce with mine. I put like a dry rub. Do you guys have sauce with your brisket usually?
I
never
have sauce with everything, you know that.
Yeah. I had hot chocolate and nachos for lunch.
Sounds like an interesting combination. After having a baby, a bra will be kind of essential as things tend to go a little south. We'll see if I actually wear one. I have to have sauce. Yeah, even if it's good brisket, I don't know. I just really like some sauce. Maybe just because I like the flavor of barbecue sauce, not because I feel like it's too dry, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I've been snacking today a lot and I'm already like full.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have trouble with this. I'm definitely not finishing all this. I grabbed too much. Hannibal Lecter inspired meal. Come on guys, no brainer. Yeah, someone commented that, like fava beans or something, he says. Do y'all know of any sellers of good keto merch? Shirts, mugs? Honestly, they're all like really gimmicky sayings.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I need more butter in my coffee. I would never wear a shirt like that. But like someone sent us this one. If you send me a shirt, I'll wear it. But
I would never buy that though.
I don't think I'd buy this.
The Whole Foods brisket is moist.
We got it from there once, didn't we?
Yeah. I think it's pretty good.
Did y'all see a movie this week? We saw The Favorite last weekend. It was
So good.
fire. It was such a good movie. I was a little bored at the start, but it sucked me in, and then the payoff's just great. I loved it. Should we start?
Sure.
Who wants to start?
I'll start. We usually do
Megas-
rock, paper, but
We've been starting.
yeah.
Go for it.
Okay.
I'm interested in this one. I don't know anything about Mega's case. I just know the basic premise of it.
Do we IF every day? No, we do not. Okay.
The Mule with Clint Eastwood, is that one any good? That's what we were going to see, but then we ended up seeing The Favorite.
Yeah.
And I'm happy with that decision.
I wasn't really wanting to see the mule, but Matt thought it looked really good, so I was just going.
Yeah, I was into it. It
Yeah.
looked cool.
Okay, so my case is Yuba County 5, also known as the disappearance of Gary Mathias. I feel like this is probably well known. Most cases are well known, but this one was really interesting to me, and I'm excited to dig in, see what Matt has to say.
Where's all the steak knives?
You have one?
No.
Do you want to use mine while I'm not using it?
No, that's fine.
Okay, so this is 5 friends. There's Ted Weir, who's 32. There's Jack Hewitt, who's 24. Jackie Hewitt. Jack Madruga, 30. Bill Sterling, who's 29. And then Gary Mathias, couldn't find his age.
All guys?
Yeah, all boys. I'll refer to them by their last names. So they're 5 really, really close friends. And they met at the Yuba City Vocational Rehabilitation Center. So, like, it's for the cognitively impaired.
Okay.
They're all mentally disabled, or they have, like, some sort of disability. 3 of them do. And then Mathias is under the treatment for schizophrenia, and Madruga was, according to his mom, slow. But this was also 1978, so there was no, they didn't have, like, their technical, disabilities listed or anything.
So 5 guys with some kind of mental disability. And I feel like they were not as liberal with mental disabilities back then.
Right.
It was like you had to have something going on for us to say you have a mental disability, right?
Yeah, and they were not treated as, like, humanely. I don't know if that's the word, just as well, right, as other people. That's besides the point. So they all lived at home with their parents, and their schedules were pretty predictable. They always made it home for dinner. It was never, like, out of the, like, they just had a predictable schedule. Like, it was not out of the ordinary for them to go home every night, sleep at home, stick to their schedule, and they loved basketball. So
they went to this place every day, like 9 to 5 type of thing?
Yeah, I think it was that kind of thing. And they played basketball also at the therapy center, and they were all on a team, and they loved basketball.
Ballers.
Yeah.
They probably love Dr. J.
The incident happened February 24th, 1978. The boys left their homes, and they were traveling to Chico State, which was 50 miles away, to see a basketball game. It was like their favorite team, Cal State LA at the time, and the team ends up winning. So yay, great for the boys, right? They're happy, they're excited that the team won. And then the next time they're seen is at Bear Market. They definitely left the game because at 10 p.m., a couple hours later, they're at Bear Market and they're buying snacks.
So these 5 guys are like out on their own?
Yeah, so
Okay.
Madruga, Madruga was the slow one. He had a car, he loved his car, it was his prized possession, and he drove.
So have you seen One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest?
No,
That's kind of where this has taken me.
Okay.
That kind of vibe.
I have no idea what you're talking
Okay.
about. So they buy some snacks, they buy cherry pie, Snickers bar, lemon bar, marathon bar, which I didn't know existed in 1978. A couple of Pepsis and half a quart of milk. So not a lot of food, right? It's 5 guys, they're driving 50 miles. That makes sense, right? They want some snacks for the road. And so sorry. So as I mentioned, this is
Julius.
So as I mentioned before, they usually go home. They have a predictable schedule, and they always end up going home for dinner, except Matthias. He's the one that could potentially be going out, staying out, because he has some friends he sometimes visits and stays out with. Okay?
Matthias is the schizophrenic one?
Yes.
Okay.
So one thing to note is also the next day, which was Saturday, they had a big basketball game at the Rehabilitation Center, and they were super pumped about this. They were raving about it all week. They had their clothes laid out. Like, you pretty much know they're going to go home because they're not missing this game. It's really important for them. So they end up not going home, and the families like start panicking in the middle of the night. They call one another. They're like, "Hey, is your son home? Is your son home?" Because they're all friends, and they realize that none of the boys are home. So next day, 8 p.m., so Saturday at 8 p.m., Madruga's mom finally calls the cops. And the cops like don't take this lightly at all, obviously, and they start like putting out search parties by horse and also by helicopter.
So the plan that night was for them all to go home to their parents' house?
Yeah, as usual.
Okay.
They would go home, have dinner. The next day was a big game. They didn't want to miss that. Like, it was made very clear they wanted to go to the game. So they're missing, the cops are called, and they're out on the search. So 3 days later, on Tuesday, Madruga's car is found. It's found in like a mountainous area in the snow, and this car is his prized possession. Like, he loves it. No one drives it but him. He takes a lot of care for it. Like, he's very careful when he drives it and everything. So they checked the car, and there was also like no damage under the undercarriage. So, you know, he was driving carefully. There wasn't any like serious, you would assume, right? There wasn't serious incidents as they were driving up into the mountain where the car was found.
Okay.
And the car was up the mountain road 70 miles away from the basketball game in the opposite direction of their homes.
Okay.
So it seems that they were intentionally driving the opposite way.
Okay.
That's my first thought.
And this is all 5 of them in one little car?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a Mercury Montego. I've never looked that up, but I'm assuming it's pretty spacious in the back. So they are 70 miles in a mountainous area. It's very snowy. It's end of February, so it's obviously very cold. So some things to note about the car. The wheels had spun out a bit, you could tell, but the car wasn't stuck. So the guys could have like easily gotten out and pushed it, right? Like, we've pushed a car before, so 5 guys could easily could have pushed this car out of the snow. There was also a quarter tank gas left,
Okay.
but the keys were gone. So like, they could have pushed it out, driven, like they still had the gas. And then there was also maps of California in the car. So 1978, don't have phones, but they had maps. So they could have found their way back, right?
I remember driving with maps. I'm even old enough for that.
Or like printing out MapQuest and then having to read while you're driving.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah. That was funny.
So all the wrappers, I thought this was funny, all the wrappers in the car were eaten, so all the bars were gone except the marathon bar.
Are we talking Snickers marathon, or is there some other kind of marathon?
I don't know, because I've never had a marathon bar, and it's like, why wouldn't you? That sounds good, right?
Sounds pretty good.
Sounds like a protein bar. So, I don't know. They didn't eat the marathon bar, so that was the only one left. And then I said, no damage to the underside of the car. So, driving pretty slow, we assume, being very careful, still had the gas in the tank. The car wasn't entirely stuck. And also, none of the boys were outdoorsy. They hated the cold, and there was no true connection for them to be in that area. So it
Okay.
just like doesn't make sense.
So totally random why they were there.
Why are they there? Right.
Okay.
So the night after they were missing, there was a storm that dumped a bunch of snow into the area. So it was very cold, and the snow was tough to get through, even for the cops that were sweeping the area. And they found nothing, no trace, just the car.
Okay.
And it wasn't until
So we have no sign of the men.
nothing.
Okay.
It wasn't until June 4th, which is just over 3 months afterwards, that there were sign. Some bikers were driving through the area and they went into a forest service trailer. They actually started smelling something like a dead body. So they go into this trailer and they come across Ted Weir's dead body in the trailer.
So just to be clear, at the car, someone's asking, no struggles, just like normal car sitting
Just
there.
normal car. It's as if they like walked away from a car they could have
Okay.
clearly utilized, right?
Okay.
So the bikers find Weir's body, and there's a lot of weird things about the trailer. I think this is where the most interesting things go down.
Wait, they came across Ted Weir in the trailer, his
Just
body?
only his body.
Okay.
Him-
So he's dead in a trailer. Random trailer?
After 3 months. So 3 months have passed.
3 months, okay.
Over 3 months have passed. No, it's a forest service trailer. So an emergency trailer for forest like service people.
Okay. It's just like there, like it's first aid type stuff, probably?
Yeah.
Okay.
So a couple weird things about this trailer. The window was broken into. So obviously to get into the trailer, they broke the window. And that'll be
Okay.
weird in a second. Ted Weir is wrapped up in sheets and like even his head is wrapped up. So it's not something he could have done. He was like clearly tucked in by someone else.
So we're thinking foul play at this point.
No, we're not thinking foul play at this point.
Why would he have that wrapping?
Because there was 4 other guys with him.
Okay.
Maybe he died and they like
Maybe
tucked
one of
him
them
in.
went rogue and like is a killer.
Or not. I don't. Yeah, but yeah, I guess that's possible. I didn't think about that. So he couldn't have done that himself. He also weighed 120 pounds at the time of finding him, and he started at 200. So over the course,
Wait, what?
he was 200 pounds when he left. He was 120 when they found him.
Well, 3 months, wouldn't he have been like decomposing a little and
He
stuff?
starved to death, right? So he lost 80 pounds over the course of a little over 3 months. So okay,
Whoa, so he might have been alive for weeks.
he was alive for a long time.
Oh my gosh, okay. This
So-
is crazy.
So he had a full beard that pointed to
Oh
him
my
living
gosh.
there for 8 to 13 weeks.
Whoa.
Yeah,
What?
I know. I feel so bad thinking about it, right? He's just like in this freezing trailer, but it gets weirder. Keep listening.
And which one is this? Is this one?
Weir.
Is he, what's his
He's just the oldest one.
diagnosis? Okay.
He is mentally disabled.
Okay.
The trailer was almost 20 miles from the car. So they traveled, or he
By
tra-
foot, 20 miles?
by foot.
Okay.
So he traveled 20 miles in that direction for some reason. And then also it was an emergency trailer, like I said, so it was fully stocked with a year's worth of food. It also had matches, paperback books, and to build a fire. And then only 12 rations of food were opened and touched. The rest was uneaten, not even touched. There was a whole cupboard that wasn't opened.
Okay.
that had food in
This
it.
is crazy.
Again, no fire that was built at all, and there was also a propane tank that maybe it missed. It slipped and they missed that there was a propane tank they could have turned on, but that would have heated the entire place like gas heat.
If you're starving to death, though, you're searching every little thing.
You're
in the
flipping
house.
every single thing for sure. And then the broken window wasn't covered at all. So that was the first thing I would have done, right? Like I break into somewhere, it's dead
And it's
winter.
cold.
I'm gonna do my best to cover up the window so wind or snow or whatever doesn't get inside.
Yeah.
And then also Matthias, the schizophrenic, who wasn't found in the trailer, his tennis shoes were there, and then Weir, the dead body in the trailer, his leather shoes were missing. So it's
Oh my
assumed that maybe Matthias was with him, and then he took his shoes and like left, maybe to go out to search. Maybe Ted Weir had died, so he just like left, took the shoes, right?
Yeah. So this is just like a crazy mix 'em up mystery.
Yeah.
Like, is there theories to this? Do people have theories?
Yeah,
Okay.
there's definitely some talk. So there's an eyewitness, and that
okay.
the eyewitness is interestingly the first thing I read, and I was confused. I was like, I'm unsure like how this ties in. So the eyewitness, it's a 55-year-old man who gets in touch with the cops after he sees like everything on TV about the missing boys. So that same night, he drove up to that mountain area. and he was scoping it out because he wanted to take his family there for camping. So he was like, oh, is it going to be a good area? Is there too much snow? And so turns out it's not, because his car gets stuck. And his car gets stuck about 50 yards away from Madruga's car.
Okay, so their car got stuck probably.
Yeah, it did. I said that it spun out, but like it wasn't stuck enough where they couldn't push it out, right? We talked about that, yeah. So the 55-year-old man gets out of his car and he attempts to push it. And during the pushing, he has a mild heart attack. So he like panics, obviously, gets back in the car, turns the heat on. He's trying to recoup, natural, right? And then a couple hours after that, two cars drive by, one being a pickup truck, and with the lights, he sees silhouettes of some men, a woman, and a baby. So he gets out of the car and he starts screaming at them like, help, help, the people that are walking. And they just ignore him, and then they pass, so he gets back in the car. Even a couple hours more later, he starts hearing whistling and flashing lights 50 yards down the road. So supposedly near Madruga's car. So he gets out again, starts screaming, yelling for help. Flashlights stop, whistling stops. He's ignored. Or that's what he thinks is happening, right?
Okay.
So he gets back in the car, eventually runs out of gas, and then he feels well enough to walk 8 miles back from where he came, because he had passed a lodge on his way up where he like grabbed a drink. So he walks back towards the lodge, passes the Montega, so he passes Madruga's car, and then he doesn't think much about it, and that's it. That's his encounter. And he doesn't say anything until after, the police start talking about the missing boys.
Okay.
So
it seems like they're living in that area for some reason, and they don't want to be disturbed.
Who?
The 5.
They're living there?
I don't know. That's kind of what I'm thinking so far. Or maybe they're being held captive.
My initial thought was like they were just done with life, but they seemed so happy. Like
About the basketball game.
Yeah, and they were regular. Like they took their med. They like went home. They were best friends. Like why would you all of a sudden all decide like life's over?
Yeah. Collectively.
Yeah.
But sometimes that happens where you just
There's
like collectively.
one front runner who's like, fuck
yeah, like
this.
the Columbine thing. Like it was the one kid basically, and then the other one's just like along for the ride.
Yeah. So the other bodies. So the next day after Weir's body is found in the trailer, they find the remains of Sterling and Madruga on different sides of the road. Okay, we'll take up a little pause right there. I think it's the neighbor. He wants to play video games. Who was that? Nico?
Yeah.
What do you want?
He had a package.
Why do ours keep getting sent to theirs?
I don't know. Maybe I put the wrong address.
Okay, one second.
I know. Sorry about Julius, guys.
Sorry. Okay. And I'm trying to talk slow. I hope I'm doing a good job.
And some people having questions with the food. It's brisket. We roasted
smoked
it.
brisket
Smoked it.
for 6 hours today.
And then I had biscuits, some butter. We're gonna have some pickles.
Okay. So, like I said, Sterling and Madruga, their bodies were found on different sides of the road, 11 and a half miles from the car. So the car, their bodies, 11 and a half miles, and then 9 miles further is the trailer. So I'm assuming they didn't even make it to the trailer. It was only Weir and Matthias who made it to the trailer. And the other 2 maybe died along the way, but the others were like...
Do we have autopsy results? Like, was there weight loss? Do we know that?
No, we don't know.
Okay, because it's just like bones.
So Madruga was found partially eaten by animals, so we assume he died and then he was partially eaten. And then Sterling's body, his bones were found scattered over 50 feet of area. And then Hewitt, the 4th guy, he was discovered, unfortunately, by his dad, which is very sad, closer to the trailer. He was a quarter mile away. So they all seemed to be going towards the trailer, right?
Yeah.
And they all just didn't make it.
Quarter mile away, I assume maybe he made it.
Maybe he made it, and
We'll
then he
see.
just immediately like left to get help or something. So everyone was found except Matthias. But remember, Matthias's shoes, the tennis shoes, were found in the trailer, which suggests he was in the trailer. But still, to this day, he's missing.
It doesn't necessarily suggest he was in the trailer. It might mean like the kid who made it to the trailer took his shoes for some reason. I guess that.
But his shoes are missing.
Whose?
Weird. The dead body. His leather shoes are missing.
The one in the trailer.
The one that's dead. Yeah. And
So only one pair of shoes made it to the trailer.
yeah.
It makes sense to me to drop leather shoes and pick up some tennis shoes if you think you got a hike ahead of you, maybe. Like that could have happened.
Yeah, the leather shoes were like high tops, like they were this high top.
Yeah.
They were in the 70s. They were like cool shoes. You're
Okay.
not hiking in those shoes for sure. That's a good point. I never thought about that. So like maybe he killed Matthias for the shoes or something, or Matthias died. He takes the shoes and drops his leather ones.
I'm thinking more survival mode. I'm not really thinking foul play yet. Do we have more info coming though?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, not really.
I'm thinking
kind of.
they're in survival mode.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. They seem like they don't have like any history, like terrible history. So Matthias, let's talk about him. So he's still missing. He's never found.
Okay.
So he's schizophrenic, as I said, and he was in the army in Germany and had been charged with assault a couple times after coming back. But everything in his history showed that he'd been taking his medicine religiously for the past 2 years, and he even had a job with his stepdad. And his stepdad states that like he can guarantee the past week before he went missing, Matthias was taking his schizophrenic meds.
He can guarantee?
Yeah.
How can he guarantee that?
Well, I'm sure like he reminded him to take
Here's the
them.
thing. Whenever something bad happens, we always hear about how good these people were doing, like what amazing people they were. That's never usually the true story. So
Yeah.
I'm inclined to believe this guy's probably not the best of people.
But I always think like Madruga was the one driving. Matthias wasn't driving. So like, I don't know, unless Matthias was influencing Madruga in some way. So also what I thought, what came to my mind was he didn't take the pills with him. So if he did survive, he wasn't taking them anymore. So maybe he had
That's
like
for sure.
maybe he had like a manic episode or something during the time he was missing. And that's what led to like his disappearance. But to me, that also points like if he didn't take his meds and he was being regular about them, he's gonna go home, right? He's gonna go home to get his meds at the very least. And then Madruga's mom was convinced and is convinced that, as you said, someone else tricked them. It was coercion. Like they were forced up into the mountain.
Well, do we have any idea why they would have been in the mountain?
No,
There's no logical explanation for that.
no. That's
But
why
their car is stuck, so it's not like
Semi-stuck.
someone they weren't met with foul play and then taken to the mountain. Like they went there purposefully, it seems to me.
or coerced, like told.
So
they-
here's where I'm at in the story. 5 guys. We don't know necessarily their state of mind. Maybe they're kind of like depressed at this point, or maybe one of like Matthias seems to be the most
The
mentally
schizophrenic.
there type of guy.
stable.
At least like IQ wise, I would guess, but he just has schizophrenia. So maybe he's like has some narrative he's going with. Maybe he's like the bad actor in this whole situation. They get to the mountain. That might not even be their final destination. They're trapped. The car stops. They can't get it out. Maybe it's trapped worse.
Well, it wasn't shown that they pushed it at all.
But didn't it snow a lot and stuff? Like, who knows?
Yeah, but they would have at least tried to push it, right? I mean, the guy who had the heart attack tried.
Yeah. So I guess,
It
but
seemed-
it just makes sense to me that their car gets stuck. Now they're wandering around for a little. They're probably not worried at first, but then survival situations, apparently they just like kind of creep up on you and it's like, okay, now what do we do? Like we're near nothing. We could die.
Well, then don't you walk back the way you drove from, where you knew there was civilization? Why do
Yeah.
you walk further into the forest?
That's a good question. Hit me with new info. What else you
Okay,
got?
so things to note and some dead ends that, I read into. So a Forest Service snowcat. So like at first I was like a snowcat, but like it's one of those like snow machines that like drives through the forest.
Yeah.
That had been up that road the day before and it made a path to the trailer. So maybe the boys were like, hey, there's a path here. This might lead to some
Okay.
civilization.
That makes sense.
So that's why they might have followed it, right? Then This is dumb, but the cops hired a water witcher, which I'd never heard of, and the water witcher had like a rod that picked up traces of humans, and that led them to another cabin where they found a lighter, but the parents said that lighter didn't belong to any of them.
Wait, so they identified traces of humans by...
It's like a magic rod, you know?
And you stuck it in like what, the like pipes water or like the actual water?
I don't know.
Okay.
I didn't look into what a water witcher is because I thought it was a dumb dead end.
Okay.
But like because the lighter supposedly belonged to none of them. But I was like, well, they went to a market. Maybe they smoke and their parents don't know. Maybe the lighter was one of theirs. Who knows?
Yeah.
But the parents' involvement is very heavy.
Was there any drugs or anything found in the car?
No,
Like
just the snacks, just the maps.
Okay.
And then Matthias knew people in Forbstown, which is somewhat nearby, and the turn is easy to miss. So maybe he was taking his buddy to see them, and they missed the turn, and they drove up this mountain. But those friends in Forbstown said they hadn't talked to Matthias in a couple years, so it's unlikely that they would be going up there.
Okay.
Okay, so that's pretty much all of it, and then I have a bunch of like whys. Let's talk about like why any of this, what could have happened.
Start hitting us with your theories, guys.
Yeah. So as I mentioned before, if they were lost and took the wrong turn and got stuck, why would they go forward instead of backwards towards civilization, right?
So that could be just as simple as they got disoriented.
Yeah, or they thought like maybe they're really close to civilization and they just walked one way.
It's very easy to just get turned around in the forest and not know what you're doing at all.
Well, they're on a road. And apparently there's the 55-year-old man's car, right?
The car is on a road where they got stuck?
Mm-hmm. A mountain road.
So they left the road.
They left the road.
They're walking just in backcountry, basically?
Yeah.
Okay, so that...
Also, they find this trailer. Why aren't you eating the food or starting a fire? Why are you just letting yourself die? Right? Why? Like, I don't understand why you wouldn't make use of the trailer in a better way. They could have lived. They could have been found.
It's hard to explain the body found in the trailer with a bunch of food there.
Yeah.
They didn't find any kind of like autopsy, like poisoning or anything? Like maybe he ate something?
No.
But yeah, he starved to death.
Yeah.
For weeks.
And there was
in a
tons
trailer
of food.
full of food. That's...
Yeah. The supposed woman and baby.
Wait. What if he's starving? He's starving to death. He finds the trailer. He eats a bunch of it and dies from just like the refeeding type of thing. That's a thing that happens to people.
He wouldn't have lost his beard though, so he was alive.
No, I'm saying he's starving. He's walking around the woods. He finally finds this thing. He just eats all the food and dies from that. That's kind of like an out there theory.
Yeah.
A lot of people saying it's just... Wait, what was this one person saying? I think it's the simplest explanation. They headed the wrong way by accident, got stuck, got out of the car, went for help, and got lost.
Yeah, that could potentially be it. So the supposed woman and baby that man saw, that's just chalked up to like the eyewitness just saw things in a state of attack, or like, he was just... Yeah. There's never anything, or it's just a different party of people that were walking by and didn't want to be bothered.
But people aren't really walking around this area, right?
I wouldn't imagine.
Woman and baby stands out.
Dead winter, yeah.
Yeah.
So where is Matthias? Is he just like dead somewhere?
Probably dead somewhere. That has to be the leading theory. What was found of his? Something was found of his, right?
Matthias?
His shoes?
Yes, tennis shoes.
I think he's probably dead then. That's the most simplest explanation.
So there's some speculation that they all ended up in the trailer, and since Weir wasn't doing well, they all set out to find help. And it was also said that the other three didn't even make it to the trailer, and during the 20-mile hike, they died. And then this is my favorite.
Wait. Say the first one again.
They all went to the trailer, but Weir started to like not do well, so they left to get help. So like they all made 20 miles, and then they were...
I don't like that one.
All left.
No.
So my favorite one is that it was only Weir and who else? Matthias that made it. And then there was a can opener, it's called a P38. I looked it up, and it's only like known to be used in the army. So Matthias was the only one that could use it. So he was feeding Weir until he had to leave. And then he left, and then Weir starved to death because he couldn't open the cans anymore.
That really brings everything together right there. I mean, was all the food canned? I guess it probably was, right?
It's it's a year's worth of emergency food. They were also dressed for mild weather.
You would think he would teach him, or he would just pick up from watching him use the can opener, though.
Yeah, I looked it up, the can opener, and I was like, I could figure that out for sure. It would have taken me a second or two, but I could figure it out.
But they're mentally disabled, too.
Yeah. And then if they were being chased, why would he have been driving slow? Because there was no damage to his car, right? If they're being chased up this mountain, there's like panic. The car would be like, there would be like mud on it. There'd be something, right?
Yeah.
And then like, that's it, basically.
$5 donation from Joe Weinberg. Thank you. Feel the best I have in years since I found this channel and keto.
Aw, yay.
Man, so this is really just like
I know.
out there. I guess I'm always like big on just the simplest explanation. I really can't make sense of why the body would be found in that's like the whole, if that wasn't found, then it would just be like, yeah, they got lost in the woods and died. But he was alive for weeks.
Also, his body was tucked in, remember? So someone else had to have done that. Who else was with him if it wasn't Matthias? You think Matthias didn't make it?
I think that has to be it then. But it's like, what would have made him start not feeling well? Just like they've been wandering in the woods for a few days?
Yeah, he's just really cold. I don't know. They were dressed like, just like going out on the town, not like hiking in the snow.
This is a crazy one. This is one of the craziest ones I've heard. Were they dressed warmly or possibly died of exposure?
Yeah, they were dressed for mild weather.
Yeah.
And Matthias had high tops on.
Mm-hmm. So they definitely weren't planning on this. It seems like they were just going for a ride in the car, maybe.
Right.
But they've never done this before. They always just go right home.
Yeah, they had like a very predictable schedule.
Man, I mean, when you're sitting at a basketball game, you do definitely like get chatting. You chat about life a little bit.
But the team, their favorite team won, so it was a really good night. They had the big basketball game the next day. They went and got a bunch of snacks. They would have gotten more if they were planning on like...
No alcohol.
No.
They just got snacks from the grocery store, like candy bars and stuff.
And milk.
This is I guess my theory that I'm going to end on has to be the last one. It kind of brings everything together, but I feel like the ones that bring everything together in cases like this, that's usually not the case, right? It's just something that oddly fits. But yeah, I guess he definitely seemed like he was sick if he was wrapped in a certain way.
Yeah.
But if they left and he was there for weeks on his own, he probably just wrapped himself too.
How could he have wrapped himself? His head was like tucked.
Yeah.
So like his arms would have been down my side.
Yep. I think you're assuming they found the cabin after a short time. I think they didn't find the cabin for weeks and were almost dead when they got there.
They found the cabin over 3 months later.
No, the boys, not...
Yeah.
The officers were almost dead when they got there? Yeah, that's probably the case.
That's why they only ate 12 rations of food. But why not like still try and turn the heat on? Why not start a fire? Why not do anything else?
They didn't turn the heat on at all?
No.
Yeah, this is crazy. They kidnapped a girl, someone said. That's a cool theory, but it seems like pretty out there.
Yeah.
Because the guy saw the mom and the daughter or whatever.
Yeah. And Matthias is still missing. Maybe he like took the girl somewhere.
Was this a movie? No, this is a true story.
Yeah, it's called Yuba County 5.
That's intense. I'm not feeling good about this. I don't have a real handle on what happened.
It makes me just feel really bad.
Was there propane in the cabin? Yeah, there was.
There was. They could have heated the cabin. They could have also tried to push the car more and driven it. They had a quarter of a tank of gas, and they could have turned around. They could have... I mean, also that 55-year-old man supposedly was there. They would have heard him if he was screaming at them.
Yeah, I think with the heart attack guy, I just totally discount him seeing anyone. I think that's the only thing that makes sense. Because if they truly were in a survival situation, they would have seen the guy or like heard him. They wouldn't have ignored him like that.
Right, which is also makes me think there was some intention to what they did. The first thing I thought was like they intentionally just like walked off.
But I think it's easier to just say the heart attack guy didn't see what he saw. That makes more sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, they definitely weren't thinking right. So I guess really anything goes. That's tough. Okay.
And we don't know like how disabled they were.
Yeah.
But
That's,
like at least,
I'm leaning towards the high end because back 30 years ago, 40 years
Madruga
ago.
and Matthias at the very least were competent. Madruga drove.
But they're able to drive, yeah.
Yeah, both of them.
Okay.
All right.
That's
my
that one,
case.
guys. A true mystery.
Did someone say that?
Yeah. The one that was never found was probably abducted.
You think?
Probably. I would definitely not say probably. But why would he have been no, that one doesn't make sense to me. Why would he be abducted? All five would not have a break at the same time.
I agree.
True, but like when you're in adverse situations, I think it's possible. Like panic just kind of sweeps mass hysteria type thing.
Or you can be convinced if you're not really there.
You know what? That's actually what I need to do one of these on. Mass hysteria. That is cool. I've listened to something on it before.
What's an example of that? Is like
I
Jonestown
think like
an example
Salem.
of that?
Yeah, I think that would be as an example. Like the Salem witch trials. That's an example, I think. Mega explains things so well.
That makes me so happy.
Okay.
I get stressed about explaining.
It is hard. I think we're definitely getting better. You guys ready for mine?
Yes, Matt's so pumped about this. He's been talking about it all day.
They must have been doing something dodgy to ignore the heart attack guy. Either that or the heart attack guy could have not seen what he saw.
I think he definitely saw something because he would have because he ignored it at first, but then he reports it later. Like, why even report it at all? Like, why do you want to get involved in something like that? Most people.
That's another thing. Sometimes people just get involved in stuff. Julius, come on.
Most people don't want to.
Julius. Okay. Here we go, guys. We are about to talk. And you can pull up the YouTube chat on your thing when you get a chance.
Yeah.
We're going to talk today about the mysterious death of John Liang. Okay.
I feel like I've heard this one.
I don't think you have. This is not a very well-known mystery. This isn't like a big one that a lot of people have covered and stuff. So this is doing some grassroots research on my part, and it's pretty much a two-sided tale, in my opinion. You can go one of two ways. So he's a longtime resident of Fresno, California, and a former Marine. And the story takes place in 2016. So here's the timeline. In early 2015, John discovers that the Fresno Police Department, and the Fresno Police Department, they're known for being pretty corrupt. It's not really like an opinion thing. It's like they're proven corrupt over a number of years.
Okay.
Kind of like Detroit, like just corrupt Kwame Kilpatrick type stuff. So John discovers that the Fresno PD are breaking the law and infringing on the rights of citizens. And what he has discovered, and John's just a normal guy, former Marine, just kind of like living his life, but he has
Taking special interest.
He takes special interest for sure. So he figured out that the cops would go to low-income neighborhoods and like to liquor stores, McDonald's, whatever. They'd scan license plates of cars that were parked. Mm-hmm. They'd look up the violations, which is illegal.
That's so shitty.
And then the person drives off and they pull him over in like a routine traffic stop. And it's like, oh, you have 16 unpaid parking tickets type of thing. And they're just like raking in the dough, making the city a bunch of money doing this.
Oh, okay. Not to like just be able to like abuse them, but
No.
like just to make the money off the parking tickets? Okay.
Probably a little of both, I would imagine.
Because you want to like...
You want to assert your
You
authority.
have a power trip.
And then John reports this to a newspaper. And
How does he find out?
We don't really know. He just kind of finds out.
And does he live in this area?
He lives in Fresno, yeah.
Okay.
So John, he posts this, or he reports this to a reporter at the Fresno Bee, which is an online news publication. I think it's also a newspaper. And I don't know that much is really made of it. I couldn't find an article or anything on it, so it doesn't seem like this ever got published. But John posts it on his social medias and stuff. And then this is kind of how the Fresno PD gets wind of John. The Fresno Bee allegedly shares their user data. This is a newspaper. They share their user data with the police.
News.
It's alleged. They share their user data with the police so that then the police can target individuals that speak negatively of them.
Okay.
Now, this is kind of what John is theorizing. This is how he thinks
Oh, I see.
the police came upon him.
Okay.
So, like, he's reporting stuff. Maybe he's leaving comments on the website, and they run an IP check, and they find out his address, basically.
Okay.
So now the cops got his address, and John starts videotaping everything and finds a lot of suspicious activity. This is outside of his house. He sets up security cameras.
This guy's crazy.
Okay, so you're already making that conclusion, which is a very valid conclusion. So I'm going to try doing a little screen share here real quick. Let's see if this works.
And it was 2016, someone, right?
Yeah, 2016.
Oh, so this is hella recent.
So this is actually his YouTube channel. Okay.
Whoa. Is he alive? Is he like still existing?
Well, this case is a mysterious death.
He has 10K subs. Okay.
Well, it all got built up from this case.
Right.
So here is some of the activity that he kind of shows going on outside of his house. So there are a few reasonable ones that I'll play. Where's the one? So there's this one. Thermal imaging cameras of the police outside of his house. And you can see it's really slow. Oh.
Whoa.
So you see that? Thermal imaging cameras of the police
Why would they need a thermal imaging?
to make sure he's home. Kind of like, this is all kind of his theory on things, okay?
Well,
So-
that looks real to me.
Yeah.
It can't be a theory.
And this is footage from outside of his house. So there's that.
Someone asked, yeah, he was a veteran, right?
Yeah, war veteran.
War veteran.
Actually, I don't know if he actually went to war. I believe he did, though. And then there's another one. I can't find it right now, but there's 2 police cars, and at 2 a.m., they're just like, oh, right here. No, this isn't the one. But there's one where there's just 2 cop cars at 2 a.m. outside of his house. They're just like chit-chatting, basically. Okay? So that's his footage. And then, so he has the cops outside at 2 a.m. And then there's another video where they're conditioning his dogs, which is there's a guy who walks by the street and has a dog of his own and like gives his dog a treat type of thing to where, like, you know, if like I've heard robbers do this before. You make good friends with the dog so that then he knows you when you want to rob the house.
Yeah.
He-
Oh, Julius would let us down so quickly.
Yeah, you wouldn't even have to do that for Julius.
Yeah.
So at this point, he files a complaint with the Internal Affairs Board at the Fresno PD. And this is when things start to escalate, okay? So a carpet cleaning van appears in front of the neighbor's house. He becomes worried that this might be the final attack, basically. Because he's like, okay, it's not cops anymore. Now we're doing undercover stuff, van type stuff where people
So
are
he's
dressed.
just assuming like a cleaner's van is the cops?
Yeah, so there's footage of this one too.
Are you still screen sharing?
Nope, I am now. So this is the last video he ever posted. This is the cleaners.
Yeah, that's not the cleaner, that's the cop.
This is footage from outside of his house. Looks a little coppy, I would
Looks
say,
definitely
right?
not like a cleaner. He's not wearing like, he looks like he's like comfortably hanging out.
Yeah, so he just hangs there for a while, basically.
That would be suspicious to me too. Not gonna lie.
So then, when he sees that, he posts on Facebook, if I turn up missing or dead tomorrow, remember this van. He posts a picture of that van. I think I seen a couple of guys sneak out the side door and into the building when it was parked in the carport this afternoon. I've been causing the city of Fresno a lot of problems recently, which I now regret. So he's like really feeling his life's threatened.
Wow.
Yeah. 5 days later,
So maybe not so crazy.
is that what you're thinking?
To me, that leads me to believe like he has, like, you're like, he wouldn't be remorseful or like feel like he's regretful if he's crazy.
Yeah.
He'd be like, this is insane. Like, these are out to get me.
When you say which I now regret, that's like I'm really actually scared now.
Yeah. So like not crazy. Like he thinks
because everyone's
he's
like
trying
pretty
to do
fearless.
good.
Yeah.
And then it backfires.
He's having fun just like uncovering, corruption.
It would be fun.
And now it's like, okay, they're gonna kill me. I'm scared now. 5 days later, his house is burned down. He's found dead.
No.
5 days after that post. Coroner initially rules he was stabbed in the back multiple times before dying of asphyxiation. Asphyxiation.
Oh my God, this poor guy.
To smoke. Smoke asphyxiation, not like actual strangling.
I know. Yeah.
The coroner later changed the ruling to suicide.
Whoa.
So a lot of people...
So he was probably like threatened or paid off to do it, the coroner? By the cops?
Okay. Investigations into the death have led nowhere, and it's now 2 years since the death, and there's been no named suspects.
Obviously, because the Fresno cops covered that area, and they're not going to let that come to light.
Yeah, he died of smoke inhalation. That was the actual cause of death.
And yeah, he was stabbed, though.
So, that is kind of his side of the story.
Okay.
But there's definitely another side to the story. And we can go to that now. What are you guys thinking so far?
The whole fact that he said he was regretful and showed like scares for his life, like that makes me feel for him. Like I believe him. Yeah. And cops, I mean, let's be honest, they can be very corrupt. And in like crappy parts like Fresno's not a great area.
Is it not a great area?
No, I knew one person. I mean, yeah, it's not the best.
Okay, so now let's go to a little bit of the other side of the story. So in his mind, I think he was really doing some guerrilla journalism, like, undercover, oh man, they're scanning license plate. In reality, it's not like he was really exposing the corrupt police. He wasn't really a threat to them whatsoever. It wasn't like, I don't know, like Edward Snowden type of thing. He's just like a normal guy. No one knows him. He's not uncovering anything.
Yeah, but like for the cops though, it's like a shot to the ego, right? They're like, we're letting this little smuck like get one on us.
But there's people in Fresno doing what he thinks he's doing like magnitudes better than him. So like he wouldn't be number one on the list if they're gonna kill someone.
You pick the easy target, right? That you can cover up easily.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, they have nothing better else to do if they're just going and scanning cars anyway. So, like, why not make this guy, like, a prime suspect and have some fun with it? I don't know. That's me.
And then another thing is, I showed you the videos that were actually a little compelling on his channel. But if you watch all these videos, it more and more looks like the ramblings of an insane person. Because a lot of them, there's not really a lot going on. Like, he has a few that are just, like, suspicious Fresno garbage truck activity.
Let's see it.
There's really not much going on at all. So a cop car goes by, and then later on... And I don't know, is he, like, actually controlling these cameras by hand, or is it's motion activated?
It looks like it's hand.
And then, like, later on, there's a garbage truck that comes by.
Is it garbage day, though? Is there garbage cans out? If it's not garbage day, that's suspicious.
I don't know. And I guess, what time is it? That is it.
5:56 p.m.?
A.M. That's perfect time for garbage truck.
But it's not stopping. It's just going really slow by his house.
Yeah.
That looks so if I was in his position and I was already scared...
Oh,
two!
There's two.
Yeah, that's suspicious, bro.
I guess now that I'm looking at it...
You can't say that's not suspicious.
It's a little bit more suspicious. I'm showing it.
He was a double agent. Yeah. They got him in the end.
And then there's another one...
How old was he?
He was... I'm not actually sure.
He might have had information or evidence on how much worse things were, and he was going to release it, but they didn't know where... Okay.
I want to show you the conditioning the dog one, because I think that illustrates the point the best.
That he's crazy?
So yeah, this is his example of the Fresno PD conditioning his dog. So that's his dog who just walked by. There's the neighbor's dog.
That's so cute.
And this is just a guy walking by with his two dogs. Julius. And you can see not really too much going on, right?
We stopped.
He stopped. But wouldn't we do that with Julius? He is a bad boy lately.
Are you screen sharing this?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's that.
Oh, I thought you said he stopped and fed him a treat.
He didn't. No treat was fed. Okay. So if you look at the entirety of his YouTube channel, I would say it seems there is definitely some suspicious stuff going on. More towards.
That also looked like a cop dog, obviously.
It did look. Yeah, that's true too.
And the way he was walking it.
Yeah. And then the big one is the thermal imaging camera. So let's actually go back to that one, right?
What is up, boo?
The thermal imaging camera. It's not a thermal imaging camera, guys. It's very clearly, where is this one? Man, it's so hard to find these videos.
That one.
That's not a thermal imaging camera. That's a DSLR camera on a gimbal.
Yeah. What does a thermal imaging camera look like?
I don't know, but it doesn't look like that.
Well, what is that anyway?
This is like something we have, basically.
I mean, I don't know what a thermal imaging camera looks like, though.
It probably has some kind of other contraptions on it, but that, yeah, look at what a thermal imaging camera looks like. So I don't think that's a thermal imaging camera. I think this is just some filmmakers, like, getting B-roll footage or something. And so that's one thing. I'm pretty positive that's not a thermal imaging camera. And then it seems that the stab wounds, and then here's the thing, anything that's about the actual crime scene or his house, this data all kind of runs through the police department. They can filter it how they see fit.
Yeah.
So it seems like the stab wounds were to his chest, potentially. Maybe it wasn't to his back. And they're mostly superficial. And smoke inhalation is definitely what killed him.
Okay.
All entrances to his house.
Well, so what does that point to? Like that it wasn't the back, it was the chest? What does that mean?
You can stab yourself in the chest. You can't really stab yourself in the back.
So he killed himself. Because who lit his house on fire?
That's the alternating theory. Well,
that's all for 10K subs.
No, it's not for YouTube subs. It's to prove his point that the Fresno PD is out to get him.
Then he's like beyond crazy.
Yeah. So all the entrances to his house were barricaded like extremely diligently. It took the fire department. They had to use an axe to get in. It took them like 5 minutes.
They were barricaded from the inside or outside?
Inside. So no one could have left his house after he was dead.
Are you sure?
See, this is what the police are reporting.
Oh, I don't believe that.
But it seems like that's the case.
I don't know if I believe it.
And then this is the dagger, in my opinion. Although the footage, this is another thing that the cops got the first look at, right? So the final footage on his home cameras was 1 day before his death. He has inside cameras too, because he's just, he's going all out. He was sitting in his living room holding a large knife, and he showed the knife to the camera and then shut the screen off.
Have you seen footage?
No, they don't show that footage. That's
they just
evidence.
say that footage exists?
Yeah.
Okay, but we don't know that footage exists.
That's the thing. A lot of the info, if the cops are really as corrupt as... It's all hearsay. If the cops are really as corrupt as they seem to be.
What's your neighbor say about him?
I didn't get any info on that. That's a good question, actually. But another thing is he lived like a block away from the checking credit union that the cops used. So cop cars were driving by that street all the time, apparently. That was normal.
But were two trash men driving?
It is a little abnormal, but I have definitely seen two trash men pass each other before.
So have I in San Francisco.
Yeah, and this is like a big city.
Fresno's not a big city.
It's kind of big, isn't it?
I'm pretty sure it's not.
So here's some thoughts. Were the cops just standing there at 2 a.m. because they thought it was funny? Like maybe they did actually know he was doing these YouTube videos and they're like, hey, let's get on his cameras. This will be funny. That's a theory. And then...
yeah, they're just trying to mock a crazy man.
Yeah. And then all the information the cops control, basically. That's the thing. So the autopsy, the crime scene, the in-home surveillance... That's all crucial information that the public doesn't really have access to.
Right.
But I would assume I don't know. There's checks and balances where I assume the higher ups look at the evidence, but
I mean, a whole city of cops could be corrupt.
true.
Or they might not even be corrupt, but they want to cover up for their brothers.
They cover up for their own.
It's
That's
a fraternity.
typically, yeah.
And you don't want to get in trouble either. So nothing was ever like pursued, right? Like by prosecution. It is what it is. It's just like a mystery case.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I think the big thing is like he didn't actually expose anything really. I don't think his life was in danger. The cops wouldn't kill him for what he did. It doesn't make any sense.
What do you mean it doesn't make sense?
Because he wasn't like a big guy exposing the corruption. It's been exposed more.
It's not about the threat. It's about the power. You're putting focus on like the cops being threatened, whereas I think about it like the cops have power. They're gonna do whatever they want to do, and it doesn't matter if it's a small fry or a big fry. A small fry they can get away with, right?
Yeah, but wouldn't you think in the police department? I know there is like a code, but there has to be
Have
some.
you seen like the WikiLeaks videos of the soldiers, like the things they say and do? It's disgusting and it's corrupt.
Of course that goes on, but there's probably also some good Samaritans on the force.
I absolutely agree, but like this wasn't the entire force, right? This was a couple cops. It could only be like 3 or 4, right?
Well, there's probably an investigation that goes into it. There's has to be
Like
like
internal
20
affairs.
to 40 people with their hands on it.
You
Someone said it's really hard to successfully cover up stuff. I agree. I think my honest theory after doing all the reading and stuff is that he was just a really crazy guy. The cops are probably corrupt in other areas, but I don't think they killed him.
Yeah, I mean, if everything they say is true, then yeah, I guess he killed himself. I guess he lit his house on fire if it was actually barricaded. But we don't know what the truth is. We'll never know.
Yeah.
It's the cop's word against this crazy man's word.
Yeah. Who do you believe? A lot of people believe the crazy man.
I feel like I believe the crazy man too.
A lot of people say suicide, no way. What does his family believe? I didn't read about that actually, but I assume his family believes the cops killed him. The least credible thing is what the family believes always. The family always believes
He was a good guy.
what they want to believe.
Yeah. We need to do interrogation lighting for these things. That would be
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah.
Like a lighting that goes on the person telling the story.
Or yeah, just like that overhead light when
Yeah.
everything else is dark. Yeah, I don't know. Poor guy. Unless he killed himself, then not poor guy. Then he asked for it, right?
Yeah. That's the stories, guys. We can do Keo questions for a little if you guys have those. Or if you guys have any theories.
Yeah, we got them. We finished a little early today. Hi, Juju. And then again, hopefully you suggest something. I really liked my case a lot.
Yeah, comment below. Your case was great. That was my favorite one yet, I think.
Yeah, me too. I love reading. I mean, but like, I couldn't even eat lunch when I was reading about it because it made me sick to my stomach to think about like this happening to these poor boys.
I know. That's a crazy one.
I
I actually really like the ones where people are like kind of in the wilderness and they disappear. There's a really good one. I think it's in like Panama or something. It's pretty heavily covered, but I'll do that one in the future. It's like one of my favorite cases.
Okay.
There's photographs. Do you guys like the visuals? How is me sharing the visuals? We can try doing that more.
Yeah, because I would have wanted to share a picture of like the can
The car.
opener, the shoes,
Yeah.
the boys, the shoes especially. Those were interesting.
I hate not knowing what happened. I know.
I know, me too. Another Winning Wednesday. Someone asked what we have coming up for Sunday. We don't have anything picked out. Anyone have any suggestions?
We got to do. Oh, I guess it's the day before Christmas, right?
It's Krabby Eve.
Oh, Tuesday's Christmas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Monday's Krabby Eve, guys.
We're starting a new thing. It's called Krabby Eve.
Because we're doing crab legs for Christmas Eve dinner.
And is Krabby Eve when the pets get their special meal?
Yeah.
Julius gets bone marrow. Miley gets fillet, just like a little bite.
Yeah. Why would cops not release the video that clears them? That's what I was thinking. Like, why wouldn't they show that?
I don't
video?
know. Do you show stuff like that typically?
Yeah, you show stuff like that. Full transcripts are released from like court. But that's public. I don't know. I think they would have released it.
Any type of berry breads? I think you can throw berries into
Any
a
loaf.
sweet bread recipe.
Yeah.
Our almond flour bread loaf, if you put like some stevia and berries, that would be really good. This was awesome. Visuals were great. I hope you do more stuff like this.
Thank you. We do it every Wednesday.
It is really fun. I've been looking forward to it.
We are drinking Topo Chico limes. It's just carbonated water with some lime taste.
It's not carbonated, is it?
Yeah, it's carbonated. Do you hear the carbonation?
Lightly carbonated.
He didn't even know this was carbonated. He's been drinking it for weeks.
Lightly carbonated.
Making your deep dish pizza tonight. Yay! Any other questions?
Yeah, there's a new Netflix one. It's The Innocent Man. I didn't really like that. I watched about half of it.
It made me sick again. Like, I am not good at handling like all these crime things, so it's like weird that I'm doing Crime Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Because it makes me feel really uncomfortable and also scared to like be alone.
Where do you find these case files? We don't actually have the case files, but
We just do as much research as possible.
yeah, I like to go on Reddit/r unresolved mysteries. Just Google unresolved mysteries Reddit, and it'll come up, and it's a big thread. You can sort. There's a lot of people. They post timelines in there. They post theories. It's pretty fun to read.
Do you guys use an egg cooker for hard-boiled eggs? I need a recommendation. No, we have. We used to use the Egg Genie, but it only makes like 7 at a time. We use our sous vide now. Make
You could
like
also-
20 at a time.
You could use the Instant Pot too if you want to get one of those.
Yeah.
The Staircase was better than Innocent Man. Yeah, The Staircase is pretty good.
Julius needs CBD oil. I agree.
I want to do the Stephen Avery one at some point too, because that'll
That
be
would
good.
be fun to do together.
Good for discussion. I think that should maybe be a full episode, just both of us.
That's what I said, to do together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people are on the hashtag free Stephen Avery train.
I feel like we both feel really different about Adnan. We could do that one.
We could do Adnan too.
All right, guys. This was fun.
Adnan's getting some kind of retrial or something at some
Is
point,
he?
isn't he? I think so.
I don't know. I hope so.
Julius is annoying.
He is super annoying.
Come here, Julius. Come on.
He doesn't even want to jump up. He's like really anxious right now. I don't know why.
Please say sous vide, pronouncing the eid at the end. Sous vide. Sous vide. Okay.
Oh, the Jinx. That
That
was
is a
really
great
good.
one. I don't actually
Matt
like.
watched the ending before he watched the beginning because I was
Yeah.
watching it and he came over and it's funny.
The thing about the Jinx is I don't actually like the facts of the case that much, but I like the part at the end of the show. That
He
was
did
what
it
really,
twice.
That was what really made it, yeah. Glad I got to enjoy this live this time.
Yay! Sorry for all you West Coasters who are like eating lunch.
Yeah, the Jinx. I got to the very last episode and I was like, this is kind of not the best. I was kind of bored. And then I just kept watching and it unfolded and I was like, okay, now it's one of the greatest shows ever. Check into CBD from your vet. Yeah, we got CBD. Julius hates it though.
He
Does
can't.
it?
He doesn't like the flavor, but we try to give it to him and it helps.
You've noticed it helping?
Yeah.
All right, guys. If you-
Biscuits? Yeah, we made some bomb ass biscuits. Those are gonna be in the cookbook, the second one.
Did you finish season 2 of Stephen Avery? Season 2 didn't tell you anything new though. I finished like 6 or 7 episodes. It's just a lot of, honestly, a lot of the show is just, in my opinion, trying to whip up like public opinion in the favor of Stephen Avery.
Just
That's
trying to make more money.
money, but it's a lot of just public opinion. Cause I mean, it's really, I don't like it at all. I don't like season 2. Season 1 was really good.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
We love you. Have a great night.
Until next time.